Hello, and welcome back to the Let Me Add to That podcast. My name is Elizabeth Graswich, Executive Director of Public Affairs and Communications at the Los Angeles County Office of Education. We are the largest regional education agency in the United States. We serve 80 school districts and nearly 2 million children. We are excited to use this platform to take a deep dive into the conversations surrounding our students and schools in LA County. Thanks for joining us. I am so excited about today's episode. This month, we have very special guests from the #1 high school of the arts in the nation. Very proud to say it is one of Los Angeles County Office of Education schools. Yeah. We are here with Los Angeles. Yes, exactly. Pause for clapping. I agree. The Los Angeles County High School for the Arts, otherwise known as LACHSA. And we have their fearless and creative leader, one of my favorite people here at LACO, Principal Dr. Tina Vartanian, who is an artist herself, right, Dr. V?
Yes. I love everything about LACHSA, and especially because I get to be myself.
And you actually played an instrument growing up as well, right?
Well, not only played, I still do. I'm still active in doing so. I started off in piano, but my degrees in college are flute, performance, which I still play, and instrumental conducting, which I still try to do. I'm trying to get LACHSA to let me conduct a couple pieces, music history, music education, and I just absolutely love being an artist and sharing that with my kids and sharing that heart as well as the art.
Absolutely the perfect principal for this wonderful school.
Thank you.
And joining Dr. V are her now former students who just graduated this month. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have Haziel, Gonzalez, and Gian, Lombeyda. Hi, Haziel.
Hello.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about what you did at LACHSA, your specialty, and the program you were in?
Let's see. So I came to LACHSA not as a freshman, actually. I took my freshman year at my home school, during quarantine. Little strange start for a freshman year, right? But I applied to LACHSA for sophomore year. I got in for jazz saxophone. That took a turn. I still play jazz saxophone. I still use it for my recordings. But now I segued into more of the recording area. So I do a lot of songwriting. I'm in music production, audio engineering, mixing, all that good stuff. And that's what I do.
That's awesome. And Gian, who is also the 2024 Valid Victorian for the school. Congratulations on that.
Gian.
What department are you from, and what is your specialty?
I was in the cinematic arts department at LACHSA. I was primarily there for writing, for screenwriting, and also for producing. However, over the course of the 4 years, I got into a lot more of the audio side of storytelling as well. So alongside filmmaking, I was also doing podcasts and relating to filmmaking, as well as getting more into other types of storytelling through writing. So I'm doing some more creative writing on the side as well, and some journalism as well. But it's always come down to storytelling and filmmaking, since I hope to continue doing film in the future as well. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, and I want to start off with explaining to our listeners why I'm bubbling over with excitement. So Dr. V, can you share a little bit about LACHSA and what makes it so special?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, as you said, we are representing the arts in Los Angeles, and what makes LACHSA so special is that it is a traditional, a comprehensive high school. And so our students are there for academics in the morning, and it's highly competitive. And we are A through G. We are a public high school. And that's something that I want to share, is that we are a public high school. And after lunch, it turns into a full-on music, arts, dance conservatory, and it is just magic. And so from 1:30 to 4 o'clock, the students, it transformed into this conservatory, and the teachers are teaching artists, and they are getting professional teachers teaching them about the art that they love. And it is free, so the students audition to come to LACHSA all throughout Los Angeles County, and it is competitive, but it's just a wonderful experience, and that's what makes it so special. You have a school filled with everyone who has been really having that passion that's been nurtured, throughout their early years. And so we get them when they're young, even when they have potential. They don't necessarily, in fact, when they come to us, they shouldn't be the perfect performer or the perfect artist already, because that's our job. We see the potential in these students who have that passion and that desire to come to LACHSA, and then we work with them, and then you have stars like these guys graduate 4 years later.
Well, it's funny because I used to love the movie Fame when I was growing up. And I actually asked your assistant principal one time, like, is it really like that? Like at LACHSA, do people like dance through the hallways?
Sometimes,
yeah. So what does a typical day look and feel like at LACHSA?
Who wants to take that one? Because
I'm
just going to say yes.
Well, in the morning, it's always, I'm going to start all the way from the morning. It's always really nice to come in the mornings because Dr. V and Nurse Donna and Miss Freitag and everyone at the front door is always there pumping music, sometimes from the 80s, sometimes from the 60s, sometimes modern music.
Shout out morning group.
Everything in between as well. But we always are definitely welcomed into the mornings, and we have our academics, as Dr. V mentioned. In the morning, one of the parts I really like about the academics is that we're all mixed, while in the afternoons we're split apart by department, and we can work with other people who have similar interests. In the mornings, we are working with all departments. So a lot of my friends I have in all of the different departments I found through the academics in the morning. Mm-hmm. And we're able to not only collaborate in the afternoons through our arts, like with film, working with all the different departments, but in the mornings on our own different academic projects. Oftentimes we're working with other arts and implementing even our arts from the different departments into our projects, which is really cool. So we have that morning period. Then we have in the afternoon the arts, as Dr. V mentioned, from 1:30 to 4, which is the time where we get to work with our industry professional teachers. We have different classes focusing on the different aspects of our art. For me, I have screenwriting, I have producing, I have cinematography, I have what else? There's so many classes, it's hard to think of it. We also have a podcast and soundtrack composing class that's coming in as well, which is really cool. And then we also have time to work on our different projects. Like in our case for film, we have film festivals, 5 film festivals, including the music video film festival. That's my personal favorite. We also have the horror night, scare night film festival, our end of the year film festival, the Sundown Film Festival, which is always awesome. And along with others, including senior thesis for the senior projects. So we get time to work on that as well. But that's the CA department. Do you want to talk a little bit about music?
He is so well spoken.
I was just gonna say,
He is so articulate.
yeah, forget me. I'm going to walk out. You did that so much more
I'm just like mesmerized. Wow.
Same here.
Let's see if I can live up to that. No. Let's see. For me, well, I agree. The morning greets are like the highlight of my day. Dr. V's energy is just like rocking all the time, and I appreciate it. I truly do. Like from the first day, like when was it? Was it during the summer before my sophomore year? We all came for orientation. We got our laptops handed out, and Dr. V was just like, never met her in my life before, and she just like hugged me, I believe. I believe we had like a hug. It was like the most beautiful thing ever. Like so much love from day one. And I will just take this little moment to appreciate, just thank you.
I don't know if we don't have the experience of other high schools, but I feel like I want to say that not that many other high schools have principals hugging their teachers.
Definitely.
Just gotta say
definitely
that.
Not.
Thank you.
But yeah, so we arrive. I do appreciate how we're allowed to just interact with other students from other departments. What I appreciate at LACHSA, it's just it is quite a small school, so it's very tight knit. Although I don't have classes with a Gian, I know Gian. we have friends in common. We have like Isaac in common, and it's such a wonderful community, and everybody just wants to see each other grow, and I'm truly like appreciative of that. And it's just to be surrounded by such talented people who are just like our age. But then you also just get to know them as people, right? Mm-hmm. It's just such a beautiful experience.
You and I were just talking on the way here about how, you have the friend who surfs, you've got one who surfs, you've got someone else who you do other things with. And it's just these relationships you build. And I think that's where I started with how being artistic and being passionate about things, your hearts are going to be drawn together. So it doesn't really matter the department, but I like how you had put that. It's
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about kind of just LACHSA admitting students who maybe are not at their full potential yet. You know, they just have a spark in them. And I like to think I have that spark. And, you know, I think everybody at LACHSA has that spark. But even like my best friend Taylor, Taylor and I started jazz at the same time, and like to just grow alongside with him. Although we ended up kind of taking different paths, he stuck to the jazz and he's like phenomenal at it. And I just kind of segued into the more audio engineering side to it. It's so great to see how everybody just grows and flourishes and like discovers themselves both as like a person and just like creating these friendships that will last forever. I don't know, it's just a lovely environment.
Well, and you talked about, you know, the talent. I mean, when I first came to LACO, I wandered into a jazz performance, and I'm a jazz fan, and I honestly felt like I was at like a professional like jazz club.
Yeah.
It was like crazy. It was just
Right.
like these kids were just amazingly talented, and I think one of the things that maybe people don't always know is like there's a lot of different arts, jazz, opera, film. You know, can you name a
Sure.
few of them?
Well, we'll start there. In music alone, you've got your vocal, opera, jazz, you've got your instrumental, you've got your piano department, you've got jazz instrumental, classical instrumental, strings, winds, I'm sure percussion and guitar. So I mean, that's just one department. And then same thing in visual arts. You have the ceramics, your painting, your drawing. So I mean, we have specialists, and that's what makes this so special, is that we have teaching artists that are out there professionally in the field, sharing that their gifts and their experiences, and even master classes. I mean, we have people who are very active in the community coming and talking to the kids. It's wonderful.
Well, and it's not just, I mean, we tend to concentrate on the arts when we talk about LACHSA because it's the arts. But, you know, you're also really a very strong academic program. And so it's really interesting, right? Because you're preparing students at the same time for both potential artistic careers and or academic, strong.
Yeah. And so, yes, and you're right with that. And there is a direct correlation when you study art, and as a very young child, especially, you know, the myelin matter develops early. And so when you're using both right and left brain together, that's what you do as an artist, because you have to figure it out, but you also have to create. And so when you have that, there's a direct correlation with successful professionals and artists. So I'd say, I think the percentage, I want to say it was 86% go on to a 4-year university. However, many of them are not studying their art, and many of them are going into other fields, or minoring in their art, but that gives them, you know, the discipline, because when you're an artist, you have the discipline that you really need to have as a student as well. Sure. And so, you know, I see the gentleman, you know, nodding, because they know that's, you know, when you have a deadline, you don't make the deadline, you don't get paid. So, and our students are learning that at a really young age. And, you know, where a lot of people are not in the professional world until they graduate, but our kids have to kind of be there in ninth and 10th grade. And we started something new this year, an admin academy, and that's where all the new kids are coming in. And we did it today. It was really kind of fun. And so then just to talk to the kids about how to step into your new life, stepping into your LACHSA life, stepping into your artistic life, your academic life, and letting them know the challenges before they actually start school. So that way we give them something, we give them a good foundation to start.
What does the future hold?
Okay. All right. I am taking a gap year this year. I am working on the first album right now with a friend of mine, Kyra, also a student at LACHSA, phenomenal vocalist, songwriter, just great artist, future Grammy winner.
Nice.
I just have a lot of faith in this kid. And yeah, working on that, and then after that, another EP, and then another album. Just going around LA, doing internships, doing as much as I can, playing as many shows as I can, and applying to a couple schools in the UK. I don't think I want to stay in the US for college. I did apply for college this year, actually. I got accepted to several places. I traveled. I got to travel because of college. I went to Miami for my auditions. I went to Chicago, and it was just like great experiencing all these new cities. Was not for me though. Definitely was not for me. They were all phenomenal programs, great people. I feel like I need to get away. I need to get away from this, and that's funny. That's the name of the first single we're releasing. Get away, shout out. It was not intentional, but there it is. See?
You have to give us a little clip. That we can play
I'll send something over.
Awesome.
But yeah, just trying to make music. That's what I'm trying to do. As long as I can do that, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like your traditional gap year. You're doing stuff in that
no,
gap.
most definitely, yeah.
And how about you, Gian?
First of all, for a start, I know I'll definitely be listening to Haziel's music.
Right.
That's for sure.
As we all will.
Yes, definitely. I just learned this morning, actually, I'm going to be in specifically the Ezra Stiles College of Yale University.
Oh, congratulations.
For this coming fall. Thank you. I'm very much looking forward to it, all with the support of Dr. V and the incredible faculty and staff at LACHSA, and my parents, because I know that I think that LACHSA helped me figure out that I want to continue my career in English specifically. I'm going to be going for English and writing at Yale because it's the program there is kind of this beautiful blend of film writing and screenwriting, but at the same time you can do like traditional like creative writing and such. So I want to be able to do that so I can apply that back to film. So I feel like in that way, it kind of represented what I did at LACHSA, how I was able to find this blend of the academics and the arts, as you mentioned, how I'm able to kind of apply this more like standard discipline of academics and English with the creativity and the arts. So I'm looking forward to doing that and hopefully making some more connections, film, writing, relationships, friends over there. So yeah.
As I know you will. It's the short time I've known you. We've been talking about duality a little bit related to the academics and the arts. It doesn't just exist for students, it's also for the educators at the school. They are all artists themselves in their own right, for the most part, right? Many of them.
Many of them, yeah. On our academic staff, it's yes and no. Some of your whole admin team, I'm in music. Sue is or Ms. Freitag, Sue Freitag. She is in drama. She was a theater teacher for 18 years. Mm-hmm. Then Mr. Abruzzo was also in the arts in theater. So we kind of were able to understand these kids, but a lot of our teachers are artists. In fact, one of our teachers, Mr. Freeman, John Freeman, he put on a concert last year and invited us all on it. I got to play music on it. Cool. Kids got to sing.
The flute was incredible.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. So it was really fun for the kids to see that we all work together. So yes, but it just and. Some of our teachers who are not artists themselves, they really appreciate it. I mean, every one of our concerts and shows and art shows, I see all of our teachers at those. These are our academic teachers. But of course, our art teachers are teaching artists. They all are. But yeah, our academic teachers, if they weren't artists before, they sure are now.
Right. That's certainly appreciative of it. Yeah. How does that feel to have a campus filled with all these people that appreciate your talents and art in general?
I love it. I had this one instance, and first of all, it's funny. I did not know that Miss Freitag was in drama. That's awesome. That's
It
was like surprising.
Oh, she's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. And I had this one funny instance where I was sitting. It was on the night of Scare Night. We were going to have our Scare Night Film Festival that night. And I had worked on sets, but I got this call up like 2 hours because I also played drums on the side for my band that I used to be in. And they said,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no.
They said, we need a drummer tonight. Can you look over this music and do it in 3 hours? And so I was just practicing like air drumming on the side, and I was deciding like, should I be up because it's my film festival, but I also need to be there for my band, so I didn't know what to do. So just air drumming just in case. And all of a sudden I felt some heat presence behind me, and my friend Isaac on my right side said, Gian, turn around. Turned around, lo and behold, my English teacher, Dr. Pullman, was right behind me, and like he was looking at the drum sheet and he was trying to air drum it on his own because he's a musician.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something I love. It's incredible because not only do I love his class, but the fact that he has like this side, as all the teachers do, of arts and academics. You can feel like they understand what you're going through, and that also helps in terms of balancing our workload. They're able to help make accommodations when we need it, because they know that it's not easy doing both sides. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Even like Dr. Pullman, funny instance we had. I didn't. His class is quite a rigorous class. It is well known. He's a phenomenal guy, phenomenal jazz guitarist, and I was like struggling to understand his concept, and like he somehow managed to like get me to understand it like using jazz lingo. And I thought that was like such a hilarious, like just a very sweet moment. But no, it's definitely great to have like teachers who are so understanding and very passionate and supportive of just us and what we aspire to do. Like the first person who comes to mind is Miss Choco.
I was just about to talk to Miss
Yeah. Miss Choco's just like the sweetest math teacher ever. She's a phenomenal person. But every morning, my friends and I, jazz kids, we'd all just like start playing in the middle of her class, and like she
before the class starts.
Right. Well, before the class. No. We do like pull up and just like no. Interrupt class.
She does have the best piano in her class.
She does. She has a really nice piano.
I'm in the class next door, and I know before class starts, we always hop over into the room for like the last 5 minutes before class starts. There's always a little concert going on.
There is, yeah. But these last couple of weeks, she just kind of made me a little sad, but it was really sweet just to like look back at all the beautiful memories made in that room. She continued to mention, she was like, I'm gonna miss your little performances in the morning, and it was such a beautiful interaction. And I recorded so many of my songs in that class, like direct input guitar recordings in that class, bass recordings. It's great.
And this happens across with all classrooms, all teachers. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's such an amazing vibe when you're there. I just love being there. I've always thought I should just have an office over at LACHSA.
I think you should. We'll find a place.
Thank you.
I'll share mine with
you. One of the things, I think that is big at LACHSA is helping you find balance and helping you balance all of the amazing commitments you have. So how does that work? I mean, when you're in such a high level performance ability, there's pressure.
There is, and I mean, this is fresh in my mind because we're trying to find ways to make that even better for kids. But I really stress if you're falling behind, like right before you even fall behind, please reach out, because we've got peer tutors, we've got the teachers are there every morning for office hours. We've got so many opportunities for these kids to not fall behind. And I really try to stress to these kids, artists are perfectionists overall. So a perfectionist oftentimes wants to sit in class and say, okay, I'm going to do it at home because then it'll be perfect when I do it. But we can't do that. We try to have the kids do as much work as they can during the school day, so that way they have the balance. And so I've been really consciously trying to talk to the students and families, saying that, their art is now their work. Have cooking time together, have family time together, sit together, for your meal or talk on your commute, because it's really important to not lose that. So time management is something that, it's funny we're talking about this today because I'm going over the goals and important things that I want to really stress next year, and that's one of them. Our academic teachers are always available before school, after school, for the students to come and check in with them, email, however it is, so we can get them to the point where they don't have to worry so much about that, because it's very competitive. We are an academic school, and they've got to learn how to balance that, because of course if I had the choice, I would just want to do my art all day long.
Yeah.
And so but I think that just learning how to do that balance, and having, we have a full wellness team, we have the office support, we have our admins, including myself. we're out with the kids all the time. So they know that they have someone to go to if they need something. So we just want to try to stop it before it becomes a problem.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's where the balance comes in.
Do you have, as students, do you have tips for future LACHSA students or upcoming LACHSA students or just students in general across LA County of like how you do strike that balance when you have, you know, something that you're really passionate about, but you're also trying to balance it with your academic workload?
Sure, yeah, I can give a bit of input. Definitely a big emphasis in not losing your connections with people. It's just friendships, communicating.
Huge.
I made a big mistake. And it's okay, like, I was able to get back on track on that. But I kind of just began to isolate myself. I became completely immersed into my art, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there gets to a point where it becomes unhealthy, and it becomes an obsession, and that had like a detrimental impact on just my mental well-being, and then that translates to like health. Thankfully, I had like outlets. I train martial arts. I do jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. So that was an outlet that I'm completely grateful for having. But if it wasn't for that, I definitely could have like gone somewhere else and spiraled down. Just don't give up such basic things like talking to your friends. There's such fulfilling moments. Like yesterday, I had a recharge day. I had been like 2 weeks of complete nonstop working. I went to the beach with a couple friends. Taking those breaks are great. Yeah, that's what I...
Yeah, I totally agree. And I know it doesn't sound very wise, but get sleep.
It's very true.
Huge, right?
From a CA student, definitely. They do not sleep.
I heard the same thing, similar, and we're already not getting that much sleep, and as I know, the musicians too. So don't take away from music too. We're all mortars.
We're all.
But, I know one of my friends in visual arts. I was talking to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to sleep at 4 a.m." And he's like, "Oh," and I said like, "Oh, is it because of project?" And he said, "No, I just always do this. We have to do this because of our projects." That wasn't his exact wording, but I know based on his commitment and the commitment of all the students at LACHSA that it does happen at times that people sacrifice their sleep for their art and their academics, since they're up that time making sure that they do their best on both sides. But I feel like that's something that's important for the next, my sister's coming into to freshman year at LACHSA this coming year. So I've been trying to find this advice for her. But for all the people who are really coming into high school, it's really about balancing your time, not only with, of course, your work, and in our case, academics and arts, but with your mental well-being, as you guys were saying, about making sure that you get sleep, that you take proper breaks, that you spend time with friends, with family, and with yourself, because sometimes you just need some you time. Right. That's good too. So.
Awesome advice for all of us, really, in life in general. You know, one of the other things that's cool that happens at LACHSA that people may not be aware of is it's not like you're just like sticking with your group of students that are like studying one area. You actually have projects that like bring you together from the different disciplines. Can you share a little bit about that?
Actually, I think you already started on that.
Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday. There was this one time last year for our music video film festival, which not necessarily our most popular of film festivals, but personally mine by far, because I love the connection with music too. Right. But there was this one music video that we did where we were on a short amount of time, very limited time, and we wanted to get as many locations as possible. So it was me, one of my friends in music, one of my friends in dance, one of my friends in cinematic arts, cinematographer, and and an actor, of course. And all of us were going around campus on our free time and just going from place to place to place. We probably did dozens of locations every day. And that was outside of school hours. But we were making sure that we were safe and everything. But it was still so crazy. During one hallway break period, we came into the hallway of the school, and basically we worked it out with our classmates on either side of the hall so that all classmates would come out into the hallway on beat as we were chanting 1, 2, 3, 4, and it came out so perfectly, and it just seemed, I feel like it represented how we're all able to come together and make these incredible things happen. It was such an amazing moment that day. But yeah,
right. That's it.
You were in that music video.
I was in that music video. No, I was thinking.
You and
I was
Hatcher, yeah.
Oh yeah, we both were. See, there's so much stuff we do. I completely forgot about that. That was really fun. It's also I find it really interesting. Even for example, Gian plays drums. That's so like random. I've worked on many songs with a lot of friends that are in theater. You know, Romy, Phoenix, Jonah. These are all theater students.
You acted like a month ago too.
I did?
Yeah, you in the fight scene, Isaacs.
Oh yeah, I helped choreograph a little fight scene for a film, and it won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did win.
It won
Yeah,
best fight for
it
choreography.
did. It did. Very proud of that. Shout out Isaac. But yeah, even working with like CA students, for example, our annual tech show, TechWorks, I decided to kind of make a little short film intro for my show, and Andrea, phenomenal cinematic artist, she helped me alongside Ian, and it just came out great, and it's so wonderful to have access to these people, you know, and to know that I just became friends with them, and I can just contact them whenever, and they can also contact me if they ever need anything. You know, I've scored films, and it's also I appreciate LACHSA and the opportunity to give students from every department to kind of just participate in whatever they want. For example, even like 64 dancers were writing their own films, vocalists were doing their own thing.
Awesome, yeah.
It's just great, the opportunity we have to experience all of each other's arts.
It's really project-based learning at its best,
Okay,
right?
yes.
I mean, you know, we always talk about that in academia, but it's, you know, it's really, you know, showing how students can collaborate, communicate, all the C's, be creative together.
And it's even though it's planned, it's also very organic as well. So that's no, it's just a blessing. They said it best.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's very cool. You know, one of the things that I watch is the Instagram page for the foundation, the LACHSA Foundation. And the cool thing about the Instagram page for the foundation is they're constantly highlighting graduates. So because of all the talent that is at LACHSA, there's so many graduates that have gone on and done amazing things. So is there a particular former LACHSA student that's really inspired you, or that that you think of from time to time as someone that, you know, you'd either like to be like, or that that you look for inspiration?
I mean, one of the people that my sister and I have spoken about was, surprisingly, our commencement speaker for LACHSA this year, who was incredible, Mr. Robert Vargas. He most recently did the Dodgers mural in downtown LA, and he is such an incredibly amazing person, a incredible artist, and really gives back to his community through the art, which I think is definitely something to look up to. Of course, I know someone who is definitely kind of a little bit of a LACHSA celebrity as well as Mr. Josh Groban.
Right.
We always know when it comes to gala time, I know there's a few people who are all like, Mr. Groban entered, he came in. But yeah, I find a lot of our alumni are really inspiring. So I don't know if you have.
Yeah, mine is a little more recent. They're definitely Robert Vargas. He's from Boyle Heights. Just that's where I was born and raised.
Cool.
And it's just so great to have representation. And he's just such an outstanding artist. But my alum that I have deep respect for, and actually the reason I went to LACHSA, Sandino Flores, he graduated last year. Him and his family were the people that introduced me to music fully, and they introduced me to LACHSA, and were just like constantly just encouraging me to apply to this great school. And if it wasn't for that, I still work with him. I actually just recorded a song with him like a couple of days ago.
Oh, that's neat.
But it's just phenomenal people, phenomenal energy. It's just such great talent.
It is. And I know that Gian mentioned Josh Groban. He came back actually, and same thing with Dr. Vargas. I like to call him Dr. Vargas because that's I'm very excited for him. But Josh Groban came back and actually watched the shows when he was in Sweeney Todd. He came to see our students in Sweeney Todd,
nice.
and it was really just a wonderful experience for the students. I mean, we have so many.
In fact, if I may add, we had an incredible experience just a few weeks ago where the incredible Mr. Chris Bowers came in. And he is a filmmaker who recently got an Oscar for the new short film, The Last Repair Shop.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was incredible. And he also scored for Green Book, which won the Oscar for Best Picture a few years ago.
Cool.
Such an incredible filmmaker, an incredible human being. He came in and spoke to us, to all the departments, since he is kind of like again represents the
I believe there was someone who interviewed him. I wonder who that was. That was Gian. He did an amazing
On your podcast?
job. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did podcasts. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I said, I mean, there's so many things about the school. One thing we have not yet mentioned is the fact that you're located on a college campus. Not everyone maybe knows that. So, what impact is being on the Cal campus?
Yeah. So I think I'm going to answer it first from my view, but I'd love to hear what your view is, because we are on the Cal State LA campus, and it's beautiful because we're able to, our students have access to some of those buildings. We are, we've kind of grown out of our building because I wish that we could have more room, or maybe another floor or two, so we could, be there. Okay, is that a plug that we need a bigger building? Yes. But we are able to work with Cal State LA, and they work well with us, and we use their some of their classrooms for our arts, and I think it's a really good experience for the students to be able to have the opportunity to see what college life is really like, and I think that's very unique. I don't think a lot of high school students see that, and they can have lunch up there. I'm sure that there's, maybe even during the day, we might have caught a couple kids up there at Starbucks, but it's really, I think it's a unique experience. And of course, our admin team is always, we're watching out for our students because, it is a college campus, and, but the families and the teachers and administrators all work together to, we're all raising your kids. And so I know these gentlemen are 18, but we've got 14-year-olds that we're going to raise them until they turn 18, and so we want to make sure that they're safe, and it is a very safe place to be. And so I personally love being on the college campus, because I think it for students who maybe families hadn't gone to college before, this is really a unique opportunity for them to actually see what college life is really like, and they're taking classes in those rooms too. So I think it's good. What about you guys?
Yeah, besides the very long walks to Cal State classrooms.
A lot of steps.
Yeah, a lot of steps. Definitely get our steps in. The Fitbit's active. No, it's definitely great to have access to these rooms and just like the facilities that Cal State allows us to use, especially like the jazz rooms. In occasions like the 7-day album project that we have, it's this annual thing. Very stressful, but very, very fun. We are allowed to use these spaces to record, to write, just to collaborate. Like Dr. V mentioned, the food has definitely saved my life a couple times. Not enough time to pack lunch.
I would say probably, and with all seriousness, the food. I mean, like, who else has a Pollo Loco and a Sbarro and a Starbucks at your dispense?
And a Carl's Jr.
No, but jokes aside, though, the equipment, though, is really such a blessing. Even outside of the department, working with the head of the department, Mr. Powers, and the music department, we did have access to the equipment, like for the music videos, and to be able to work in the music rooms, or we were able to do that interview with Mr. Powers in the incredible gospel choir room, which is beautiful. As well as the dance rooms are all up there. We have many layers for the dance rooms, and access to the Luckman Theater too for some of our performances, which is incredible. So,
yeah, it's really, really wonderful. And you just mentioned performances, so that's kind of one thing I wanted to touch on. Is, like I said, I was lucky enough to stumble into a jazz concert, but I mean, I actually think they're like the best tickets in town. And so you actually perform, just these public performances. What do you think that does in terms of like helping you as artists, like having to learn how to have such public performances, and so many? There's a lot.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, I'll speak first for us, but I think that it really gets our students ready for the real world, because you don't have time to do. I mean, you've got to be focused. You've got to be prepared, and you have to be ready to jump into the next show or the next project right away. And so, I think that it's a really good, it's really good training. And then, I don't like to bring up the word stage fright, but there's no time for our students to ever get stage fright. So I think because the only way to combat that is to keep doing it. And so I think we have a lot of opportunities for our students beginning their freshman year for them to show their work. And that's why they're there. They want to share their work. They want to share their art. And we want to give them the opportunity and the place to do that. And that whether it's a performance or a show or a showing or whatever the case is, we want to make sure that those students feel confident when they walk out of these doors to be able to go into any studio, any place where they would be showing their work and do it with confidence and experience enough in different areas. I mean, some of our performances, they're at many different places. So students have to look at, the different stages, different rooms, different art galleries. And so we have a lot going on. So this isn't a plug, but please check out LACHSA.net so you can check out our calendar. There's something going on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, LACHSA definitely encourages professionalism. We've had the opportunity to perform at venues like the Hollywood Bowl, which actually just happened.
Last weekend.
Just happened.
We opened. Our vocal jazz opened.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, along with
I missed that.
Blue Note combo,
Blue Note
directed by Alex
yes.
Hahn.
Wow.
I had the privilege to perform at the Hollywood Bowl last year. Phenomenal experience, being around people like Herbie Hancock, who was just backstage. What? It's beautiful. Definitely professionalism, learning how to act, behaving ourselves, understanding. I think what I appreciate a lot is the mutual understanding that we love this so much and we care about it so much that we respect it. And when it is time to focus, we are all willing to, and we will lock in and we will start to work because we have so much love and care for it. We all want it to turn out great, and translating into performances, like Dr. B, you mentioned stage fright. That is a real thing, but there's
no time.
There's no time for it. Honestly, I'm grateful for my jazz background. If it wasn't for that, improvising is such a big thing. There's been times where I'm just in the middle of stage, center stage, spotlight on me, and there's a technical difficulty. The mic's just doesn't function, and I have to interact with the crowd. Definitely has helped me improve my speaking skills, and LACHSA is great.
Yeah, I mean, in cinematic arts, we don't have as much in terms of performances, but I've known in terms of going for performances that we're very much a very supportive community, and I think that's really nice that we're always there for each other's performances. One of the first days, I don't remember if it was in sophomore year or if it was in junior year, but I was walking into the halls, coming back from the pandemic, and I heard this music and in the rooms alongside me, and I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds like I'm literally listening to something off a Miles Davis record or something. I don't know. I mean, it's incredible, all these people around me, that there's such talented musicians and dancers and actors and everything, and I'm just so honored to be here at LACHSA. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like the school is special. But yeah.
One more thing, I completely forgot I did this. I did a fashion show as a music student.
That's
so.
You were great.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, shout out Juan. Juan's gonna do great. He's heading over to the UK. I just the opportunity to do things that are totally not in my art. Being in a fashion show, being in music videos. These are just great opportunities that LACHSA provides you with.
As we close, we are so lucky to have LACHSA, but there, are a lot of students that maybe don't have the opportunity to go to LACHSA, but they're surrounded by the arts here in LA. What advice would you give to young people who are just interested in the arts? What advice would you give to your younger self even? You are all, talented artists. How can young people pursue art? Where can they dig in?
Well, first of all, I think that being in Los Angeles, art is everywhere. I mean, as you mentioned with our murals, I mean, it's everywhere. So, and that's what LACHSA wants to be for every child in LA County. Every child in LA County has the opportunity to come to LACHSA. So we want, we're going to have some opportunities this year. In fact, we were talking about it on the way coming in, for just neighborhood kids to be able just to come and experience it in the afternoon, just to see what it's like to take away, any anxiety or fear of like, oh, can I do this? Absolutely, they can do it. And there are free concerts in LA on Friday nights again, there's so much in our community, but my advice for a young artist, and I'll talk to my 2-year-old self, that was my first my first play area was under the piano, actually.
Wow.
So that's where I would play with the dolls. Well, I thought, okay, well, I've got to see, how does this work? And I would look and see the strings, and that's what got me interested in music. And so also my family would dabble in music and sing, but it was just never forget to be, and this is what I'm going to tell these gentlemen too, and all of my kids, never lose that artist within, never lose that child within that just says, who cares? I'm going to spin around and dance and have a wonderful time. And I think you were sharing that just making sounds and experimenting with sound and having fun and just never losing that joy. And that's one of my goals as the principal at LACHSA, is to provide opportunities so students will never lose that joy, that they will always have that encouragement and have that acceptance in whatever it is that they want to present as their art. But I think that my advice to every single child in Los Angeles is that you are an artist. I don't know what your art is, but you are an artist. Whether your art is speaking, whether it's smiling, whether it's dancing, whatever it is, but never lose that. And that's and there's people out there who want to help you. And hey, I'm one of them. So email me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I would say in terms of the next generation, or my 14, 15-year-old self, would be to continue making art. Because I feel like you don't go anywhere unless you do it. Sometimes it might be hard. Sometimes there might be obstacles. But if you keep on making art, keep on trying it, and you don't even have to know where you're going yet. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to change your path, to be doing something new or doing something different. Or halfway through, we have students who have gone from theater to film, or from music to commercial music, or from dance to visual arts. It's okay to experiment and to find yourself along the way. And as Dr. V was saying, definitely look to the people around you. Look to the art that's around you. Come out to our film fests. While we don't have performances, we do have tons of film fests and visual art galleries and all sorts of
and they sell out.
Yes.
Sell out.
But I know there's the same thing that's going on at LACHSA, while it may not be in the same form, is going on across the county through all the different schools. So look to the people around you, because we're all here for each other. So
Definitely, yeah. And adding on to what Gian said, I think it's important to not be tethered or attached to this idea of who you think you are. Like, for example, myself, I was on a path through USC to become a neurosurgeon. Wow. That was my path. I was very academically immersed. I was 2 years ahead in my academic classes. And that took a turn. I went to arts, and now I do little sounds, boopy boop and stuff. Yeah, it's very easy to kind of try to meet people's expectations, society's expectations. Art is not a common path that people take, and a lot of people are afraid. And I think fear is just such a terrible thing. I think it's a normal thing, but it just stops people from achieving greatness and just happiness. And I think if you have any remote interest, even if you have no clue what it is exactly you're interested in, like Gian said, trying everything. I tried to be a visual artist for a minute. I'm not great at it. That did not go up.
Me neither.
I tried too, guys.
Yeah, I know. I cannot draw a circle to save my life. But it's okay to keep trying. Whatever it is, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, this has been one of the most joyful conversations I've had on our podcast. So huge thank you to Haziel, Gian, and Dr. V for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
We're so happy to be here. So thank you so much for asking us. We're enjoying each other's company. So.
I'm enjoying your company as well. So thank you for being here. And that's a wrap for Let Me Add to That.
Please follow the Los Angeles County Office of Education on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Los Angeles COE. That's Los Angeles COE. Or you can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn at Los Angeles County Office of Education.